I feel like most people don't have an intimacy with themselves, with their own like direct experience. That's what spirituality is, man. It's literally just becoming more intimate with your experience. Becoming very conscious of it, becoming very attentive to it. And basically treating it as your beloved, right? Bhakti yoga, I think it's called. The yoga of union. I could be wrong, but that's what comes to mind right now. Like, you create this duality in your mind of you being the one that is attentive and present, and your beloved as being life itself, your direct experience. And it's the path of union, but ultimately take it all away and it becomes one and the same thing, of course. The attention of direct experience, being present with it, of course, that is just what is also your direct experience, right? There's a teacher, meditation spiritual teacher called Kenneth Folk, and he says you are enlightened to the degree in which you are disembedded from your experience. So that means that the more you are disidentified from everything happening in experience as experience, and the more enlightened you are, right? Basically, the more that you objectify everything in your experience, the more enlightened you are, right? Does this make sense? Because the very definition of objectify means that it's not you. You are the subject. So, you objectify this mug. This mug is not me. This coaster is not me. I objectify this hand. This hand is not me. I objectify the voice coming out of my mouth right now. That's not me. I objectify the taste of tea, the feeling of tannins on the top of my roof of my mouth. That's not me. I objectify the heart beating. That's not me. Or so you just keep going, basically objectifying everything you experience. And so all you have to work with in experience is your 5 senses, plus thoughts, and consciousness. So, see, this does require you to have some concentration. This does require you to intend to be intimate with your experience, to kind of treat it as your beloved, and to try and, just like if you had a partner, your beloved, you would be attentive to them. That's what love is, and in a big way, love is just being very attentive, like being very present and putting all your attention onto this person, right? And listening to them and generating love for them. And so you do that with yourself, your reality, your direct experience. And so you start to objectify everything. And this includes all the thoughts you have and all the intentions you have, the intentions to place attention on things, all the decisions that you have. And it also includes consciousness, turn the observer onto itself, because this, observer, this kind of detached awareness that is like, in the head behind the eyes, aware of the rest of the world, is just a fabrication of the mind, because there isn't consciousness located in the head behind the eyes. Being conscious of that, everything's made of consciousness. Everything is self-aware. That may sound kind of silly, but it's true. Like, look at your experience. It's like, where is this entity in your experience that is conscious? Where is this entity that is aware? There isn't one. Things are self-aware. Phenomena is self-aware. Every thought that you have is self-aware. And by self-aware, what I mean is every thought is awareness, and it is aware by itself. Right? Everything is infused with awareness, infused with consciousness, because no thing could exist without consciousness. Could it? How could it actually exist without consciousness? Do you understand that? Like, nothing can exist without consciousness. You see, we've got this like conditioned belief in us that beings are conscious, that like animals are conscious, but that's not how things actually are. Everything's made of consciousness. And so, yes, enlightenment is disembedding from everything. Yeah. It's disembedding from everything. And realizing that everything is just happening by itself as this interdependent web of causes and conditioning. Everything's happening interdependently. Conditioned, everything is conditioned, everything is conditionality. And so, like, one good meditation that you can do is, sit down, close your eyes, and really locate the self, locate this sense of a subject, locate the sense of yourself. Where are you placing this sense of self? Is yourself the observer? Maybe you're sitting down to meditate, you're having all these body sensations, right? But you objectify them, right? So you see that they're not you, that they're just happening by itself through this interdependent conditionality. And then maybe you do the same with thoughts. Thoughts are coming up, they're coming in and going, coming and going, that are all interdependent conditionality. Maybe you have a sore foot, and then you have a thought like, oh, my foot's sore, I have to put some cream on it after this meditation, or some shit like this. Like, of course, is that you thinking that? Is that you? Maybe it is. So in that very moment where your sense of self is you have become that thought. That thought isn't what you are. And so you objectify that, and now that's not who you are. And maybe you start to objectify everything, and you start to put your sense of self in this sense of being the observer, the witnesser, the one that, even the one that places attention anywhere. But then you can start to see when you're meditating that the intention to place attention on anything is also part of this conditionality. And you start to see that it's like, oh, like I'm meditating. No, I'm not even meditating. Like life has just led me to meditate. Like life has just happened the way it has, and I'm meditating now based on all the causes and conditionings of reality. And it's like, you didn't even decide to meditate, really, because the decision to meditate wasn't you. It was part of this conditionality, right? So you start to see that like everything's just happening by itself, really. And you can switch between like identifying with nothing or identifying with everything. No self is true self, or like being nothing is being everything. You can identify with nothing in your experience, or you can identify with everything in your experience. And you see like you can identify with the entire interdependent conditionality of reality. And so your very breath is no different to someone walking down the street or a sound that you hear. It's all this movement, this happening. You are every happening. You are every single happening. And also, for practical purposes, it may even be beneficial to identify with just this body, just this mind. But most people think that's just how things actually are. But it's like, you can, if you really want to, you can choose what you want to identify with. Be a shapeshifter, right? Be a shapeshifter, brah. Shapeshifter. Whatever the moment calls for. And again, like the choice to be whatever, is it really your choice, or is it just part of the conditionality? But whatever, man. What else did I want to say? I wanted to say something. This is the work, man. This is the work. And I want to do more of this in the future. Right now, I feel like I'm not really in that phase of my life to do this, but I used to do a lot, This was my work, my spiritual work, my sadhana. This was what I did in meditation. I would sit down, sit still, and I would try and see how everything's just happening by itself, and it's all impermanent, and there's no self in any sensation, including thoughts and consciousness. And try and locate the self, right? And again, this is the point I want to make, is the self is not fixed. Again, like I said, be a shapeshifter. Of like, every moment yourself could be going, like I said, you have a thought of, like, oh, my foot is sore, I need to put some cream on it. In that moment, you could be identifying with that thought. But in the next moment, you disidentify from that thought. You objectify that thought. And then in that moment, you are the meditator that is doing the work. And this meditator is the one that is trying to see. This meditator is in this instant, the meditator is the intention to disidentify from things, the intention to disembed from something, the intention to objectify something. And so when you do that, maybe the next moment, you have now become this fabricated entity, which is a witnesser paired with the action of putting in effort to disidentify from something. And then maybe the next moment you see that that is also just another dependent arising. You disidentify from that. And then maybe you start to identify as this bigger, grander consciousness that is conscious, just conscious. And then you disidentify from that and realize that consciousness is happening all by itself as well. You know, I didn't choose to be conscious, it's just happening. You know, I didn't choose consciousness, consciousness is conscious. And so it's like, is there any further to go? I don't think so. I think that's everything. But it's very subtle. Like, you get to this level, things become very sneaky, very subtle. It's hard to pinpoint where this sense of self is. But anyway, so you objectify everything in your experience, including consciousness, and including all intentions to place attention. And yeah, that's enlightenment. And that's the work, man. If you want to put in effort, that's where you put in effort. You try and see that there's no self. Or that everything is yourself. And like I said, I certainly want to put in more practice here, more work in this regard with meditation and just inquiry, you know. I mean, this is Ramana Maharshi's self-inquiry, you know, asking, who am I? It's just locating the self. It's like, who am I? Like, or another question you could ask yourself is, what is me? Like, this experience is happening. What part of this experience is me? What part of it? It's like there's all this phenomena going on, all this qualia, all these sensations. Which is me? In all of this, where is me? Which one is me? What is me? You know. So I think all meditative techniques are really kind of the same thing in a sense. I mean, it depends like why you're meditating or what you're meditating for, because you can certainly get into concentrated states that feel very peaceful and very like expansive and very just like, you know, good experiences, you know, very good experiences. But, you know, they're very healthy, you know, like that help relaxation and help you just be more happier, you know, have a better baseline contentment, right? And yeah, you can go into all these kinds of states that are very peaceful and tranquil and whatnot. So you can use meditation to kind of generate pleasant states of mind and body. And that's certainly valid. But like, don't get it twisted that this is what enlightenment is. Like this is what a lot of people do get into, you know? I think that enlightenment is just like trying to make these pleasant states of mind and body permanent. But nothing's permanent, everything comes and goes. So you can't actually hold on to it. And if you try and hold on to these pleasant states, try and grasp at it, it's what causes suffering anyway. So and these pleasant states are conditioned as well, you know. So nothing wrong with it, but don't confuse it with like enlightenment or whatever. Because enlightenment is just like realizing the truth, really, and the truth is always the truth. It's always here. It doesn't matter what state of mind you're in, it's always going to be there. You know, things are conditioned. So yeah, hope you got some value from this. I think it was a pretty good video. Some good thoughts here, some good info. And please like and subscribe if this video helped you out. That helps me out a lot. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. Have a good day.